help us understand American racism that fed that Capitol moment. Why were we as surprised as we evidently were? Because we didn't have any preparations. The police weren't ready. Nobody saw that a gathering 1,000 yards away in a park in Washington might actually be the prelude to a bunch of people storming through the Capitol building. Why did we get it all wrong?
Well, it seems like white privilege extends to looters, right? I mean, let's be honest. If you had even if half the amount of black people protested, there'd have been police everywhere. So I think this is actually really like a really how you the chicken's coming home to roost, right? Once you kind of it's this real strange way in which black bodies are policed and white bodies really aren't policed. And actually, this is a perfect example. I can't even imagine how you could have protesters like that get into the Capitol. It literally is unbelievable, right? But again, this is about how the nation has emboldened white supremacy. I mean, this has, like, historically. Think about the Klan. Think about even about the American Nazi Party. In some ways, the way that was emboldened. White supremacy has been emboldened in America. There is a clear line between that emboldenment and even Trump. I mean, Trump calls for people to go. The president of the United States is calling for white supremacists to come to the Capitol. It's a real emboldening of white supremacy, which just isn't new to America. America is based on that kind of emboldening of white supremacy, which led perfectly to that moment.
And it felt also as though there was some institutional complicity, that it wasn't just a gathering that was overlooked because they were white people, but then when they approached the Capitol, they seemed to have a rather easy passage, through various barricades and perhaps even with some of the officers who were serving there.
Yeah, again, the idea of white supremacy and law enforcement. Again, just look at the history, but not even you don't have to look that far. Like, it's relatively recently where you can see that very clear collusion, and it should really terrify people that it was that easy. I mean, people could have been killed. You literally could have had serving senators murdered in the Capitol, and supported by actually in some very serious way supported by the state. But again, we shouldn't be surprised given the history of the way these things work out. In society, in American society particularly, but also that's very much tied into white supremacy, right? That idea of the mob. We talk about the mob. Think about how important the mob has been in maintaining race relations in America, right? I mean, if you go slavery, if you go the Klan, if you go not just the Klan, but more broadly, and lynchings, and then if you go to when Trump wants to reassert the values of racism in America, what does he do? He calls for a mob. And again, that's not really a new thing in American history.
Hachette,